on the Warhammer community website, we have gotten previewed 7 of the new rules for the Death Guard, most notably massive buffs to Poxwalkers and Deathshroud Terminators. So I'm going to be going over all of that and also some more in today's video. So I think I'll start off with Poxwalkers because of course now they've gone down from 7 to 5 points. Not only that, but they now hit in melee on a 4 up, as of course previously they hit on a 5 up, and then they hit on a 4 up if there were more than 10 of them. Now they always hit on the 4 up, which is of course a considerable buff to the Poxwalkers, because it means they're going to be able to be getting a lot more hits when they get into melee. And furthermore, they're now toughness 3 instead of, toughness 4 instead of them previously being toughness 3. This is really nice because of course things like bolt guns that used to wound on 3s, now they wound on 4s, so this is also quite a nice adding to the Poxwalkers. And furthermore, of course, if you combine with this with the psychic power that gives the Poxwalkers +1 strength and toughness, they can become toughness 5, and then even with Typhus and that psychic power, they would be toughness 6. But if you've just got Typhus amongst a massive horde, that's a big horde of Poxwalkers all at toughness 5, which is certainly going to be very scary for the enemy. And I would really like to use some tough 6 Poxwalkers in the game. That would certainly be a really nice combination. Now, before I go on to the Terminators, so the non-Death Guard specific lords, such as Chaos Lords, Chaos Sorcerers, that previously they didn't have Disgustingly Resilient or any of the Death Guard basically army-wide rules. Now it's confirmed that they will all have toughness 5 as opposed to toughness 4, Contagions of Nurgle, and Disgustingly Resilient, which is of course quite nice because it means we can use lots of the Chaos Space Marine models with Death Guard, and they will be a lot more viable of options. It was also confirmed that Mortarion, he gets to choose between Revoltingly Resilient, Living Plague, and Arch Contaminator Warlord traits. Now of course it doesn't mention what these Warlord traits are necessarily with new addition, but of course I assume Arch Contaminator will stay the same, get to reroll all fail wound rolls for plague weapons. I don't see why that would have changed, although Revoltingly Resilient gives a buff to Disgustingly Resilient. Of course, since Disgustingly Resilient has entirely changed, we don't know what that buff will be. Maybe it will be -2 damage as opposed to -1 damage, although that might be a bit too powerful. Or maybe more time with that Warlord trait, they'll get a 6-up Feel No Pain. Again, we don't really know. And we also did get some Warlord traits, although both of these are pretty useless. They were with certain play companies, so the Drowning one, basically, while an enemy unit is within contagion range, they halve their movement once they're within contagion range of the Warlord. But of course that's fairly useless because once they're in that range, they're probably going to be able to make a charge next turn, so I don't really see the point in that. Same with this other one, which is that while an enemy unit is within contagion range and is attacked, it doesn't get cover, but again, that's not going to make too much of a difference. Next up, of course, we've got the Deathshroud Terminators buff. This is nice, they now hit on 2s instead of 3. The Man Reaper, their main weapon, does 2 damage instead of D3 damage, although you do have to subtract 1 from the hit roll, so for the Man Reaper, it's basically the same, but with a slight buff, being able to do flat 2 damage as opposed to D3. And they also have the option to attack with a different ability, which is of course really nice because previously they wouldn't be that great against hordes, but now they get double attacks and they're hitting on 2s if they use the Scythe ability, which is really nice. More Crusade rules, I'm not really going to go over them in this video. But last of all, there's the Photo Bloat Drone, the Flesh Mower. Instead of doing 6 extra attacks, every time an attack is made with that, it does 3 hit rolls instead of 1. So instead of the previous 9 attacks, that means because it's getting an extra attack, it now has 4 base attacks. That's 12 attacks. So of course, if you want to use a Flesh Mower on the Photo Bloat Drone, that is a considerable buff. So that's about it for today's video. Not too much, but some nice changes. Hope you enjoyed and found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on the notifications. I'm going to be planning to upload a lot of videos, particularly once the new codex comes out. So hope you enjoyed. Bye.